Welcome to the installation of Spooni Spooner with dependency UI prompt. This guide is aimed at people who do not yet know how to install Spooni Spooner and do not know how to set the permissions. That means we're just going to do it together, like this. First, let's download the Spooni Spooner from Github. What do we have here? First, we drag it onto the desktop. Then we need the dependency. That's uiprompt, which is down here, which is also linked. Click on it, then download the zip here. Did it work? Good. Now we have to rename this here. On the desktop of our remote, the whole thing around the -master must be removed, and the script is important. Look for the name uiprompt means the minus must also be removed. You can rename the spooner to Spooni _spooner. You will then have both scripts on the desktop. The next step is to put them in your server folder. That means we go to server. In this case, I will use the dev server. Go to server data resources, and now let's think about a folder where this should go. Spooner is a tool for me, which means it also goes into the dev folder and is used by many scripts. Dependency means it is an essential. And we've already sorted the thing. You have to decide for yourself what your folder structure is. I've sorted it like this now, and it fits. Next, we go to server.cfg and have to load a line. You can also write the permissions in the .cfg, but it will be a bit confusing. This means that I now have an extra export here, an extra file before EP permissions.cfg. Just say please for execute the other .cfg, which is called vorp perms.cfg. This is the one here, and we have also separated the resources again. This is actually already the default setting for many free build servers. This means that the resource list is separated and both files are executed at startup. For the Spooner permissions, it is important to know that there are several ready-made things. One of these is this group.admins. This means access to everything that has to do with Spooner. On Github itself, you will find a lot more, such as view, spawn, modify, delete properties, entity limit modify. You can subdivide this if you want to. We're making it very simple today. We just say all admins or all people with the admin group have full access. That means I have a Steam principal identifier here, my Steam ID group admin. This means that I have set the admin group myself. Alternatively, you could say group mapper at the bottom, for example, and then set another user who is then called mapper, then change the Steam ID. Unfortunately, I don't have one in my head that could fit, and then say, I don't know, Ralph. Ralph is now mapper, and Ralph has permission for Spooner. But now I have no more Spooner rights at the bottom with the admin group. That's roughly how it works. What you know at this point. Now I have to change the group back to group admin. Now the rights will work again. So next we come to the execution. We have to remember to execute the UI promptly, and I copied that into the folder. Essentials was that the UI prompt folder. I'll just copy the name out here. I'll just say very high up. As I said, a lot of scripts use the UI prompt. That's why it's best to put the UI prompt quite high up. Then it fits in the right place. I now have it above all the menus and menu API stuff. And then this part would also be done. Now we just have to decide to load the Spooni Spooner. Spooni _spooner. So this must be started further down. The important thing with dependencies is always to load the dependency first, in this case UI prompt, then load the script that uses the dependency. Now that we have done this, we have started the Spooni spawner here, started our dependency and set the permissions. It doesn't matter which framework you use. It's the same for every framework. So there we have it. I'm just going to check that everything is correct. If you don't know how to get your Steam ID, you can simply look it up in your database. As a rule, the framework saved the Steam ID directly as hexadecimal. If you don't know how to get the Steam ID, there is a Steam ID finder. Let's go back one point. This means I can now search for my Steam name here, click on search for my profile name here, for example, and get the ID 64 hex directly with the 9025, and again the community profiling to see, is it my profile? Yes, it is my profile. 9025 is 9025, and that is also the correct Steam ID. All right. Once we've done all that, nothing stands in the way of using the spooner. Means we'll do another joint server, start on fast, and then we'll have a look in the game to see if everything worked out, and then you'll have some feedback. Then we'll see each other again soon. I'll do a quick server start and log in again. Good, we're already in the game. Now we can check whether everything we've done has worked. By pressing the delete button, we can now take a look here. We are now flying. We are officially in the Spoony spooner, can now press F once here, and also see the Spoony list and everything else. Put down a stone, perfect. We can move the stone. Whatever. Everything we need is there. And yes, in that sense, we've actually done it. And I hope I was able to help you a bit with the setup and the guide, and wish you a pleasant day. If you have any problems or questions, feel free to drop by the Spoony Discord.